Elias, lecturer in management. Today I am uploading this video on decision making skills. Decision making is around us. Sometimes we think it is only the manager's job to take decisions. That's why it is most studied area in the management circle. In fact, everybody is taking decisions for their routine activities, whether it is at home, maybe it is in the workplace, or maybe in the corporate world. This skill is to be learned at the early age of adolescence. Once I found a highly successful manager in the corporate world. I asked him how you become so successful. What is the secret of your success? He explained he learned decision making skills. Again, I asked how he learned decision making skills. He told by taking wrong decisions. In most of the organizations, managers, they do not want to take decisions within their own domain because decision making is a skill that is to be learned with experience and gradually. The earlier the person learns decision making is the better. Before going to the learning objectives, let us discuss some good and bad decisions. First of all, I want to elaborate you about Samsung versus Motorola. In corporate world, decision making will change the face of the company. There are many historic right and wrong decisions taken in the corporate world which made them either to reach at number one or made them to out of the market. Some of the bad decisions were taken by companies such as Motorola Mobile manufacturing its decision not to adopting to 3G smartphone technology and were listening to the dealers instead of the customers dragged them from number 1 to number 8 position as they were focusing on cute designs targeting on a specific segment, whereas Samsung retained position number 1 because of its good decisions and focusing on the real need of the customers. Another case about good and bad decisions I want to elaborate here is about Toyota versus Nissan. No doubt, both the companies established around the same period 1937 and 1933. Both are Japanese brand, but Nissan stood number 10 position, whereas Toyota retained position number 1 because of so many good and bad decisions in the areas of research and development, corporate governance, leadership, corporate culture, operational strategy, and financial performance. Toyota's market capitalization is around $200 billion. Now let us move to the learning objectives which we are discussing today. First of all, we are discussing about difference between decision making and problem solving. Then identifying the stages of decision making. Number 3, distinguishing between programmed and non-programmed decisions. Then the intuitive approach of decision making. Then we are going to discuss about 2 rational approaches to decision making. Then role of values that plays in decision making. Values plays very important role in decision making. It is very interesting. We will discuss this also. Understanding the importance of creative decision. Then identify several specific tools and technologies that can be used to foster creative decisions. Then the last objective today is about identifying the methods which are aiding computers in making decisions. Let us discuss the difference between problem solving and decision making. Problem solving, as the name implies, is solving a problem, meaning it is a method wherein a group or an individual makes something positive out of a problem. Decision making, on the other hand, is a process that is done many times during problem solving. If you focus on the diagram, decision making is having 3 steps, and whereas problem solving is having 5 steps. That means for each and every problem you have to take so many decisions. For example, you are driving a car on the highway. Your temperature indicator is crossing the red mark. You encountered a problem and
start checking parking in a safe area. You found you have forgotten to cap your radiator after filling coolant. It was the real problem happened with one of my friend. To solve this problem, we take several decisions. Wait for a while, let the engine cool down and put water slowly and rush to the workshop. When you visited the workshop, you found the real problem that your radiator was badly damaged and it was leaking. Here you have three options. You can go to the original, buying for the original one, that is very expensive. You can go to the local market and buy the local model, that is cheaper. The third option, go and repair it, most cheaper. For example, you took the last decision. After taking last decisions, sometimes your decision may fail after 1 month. Then what you have to do? You have to repeat that decision to solve the problem. Stages in decision making. Most of the managerial decisions and scientific decisions used to pass through three different stages: intelligence, design, and choice. Intelligence, searching the environment for conditions requiring a decision. For taking managerial decisions, first we need to use our intelligence, whether the environment and condition is required to take the decision or not. Number two, designing, inventing, developing, and analyzing possible course of actions. The managerial decisions and scientific decisions need to have innovation as well as creativity. Finally, the third one is choice, selecting the course of action. Managerial and non-managerial decisions. Managerial decisions focus more on intelligence and design. Example, developing strategic plan of the company or preparing 5-year business plan. This needs some creativity. Non-managerial decisions focus on choice, the last stage. Example, how to plan my vacation, what gift should I give to my spouse on her birthday. Type of decision making. Basically, there are two broad categories of decision making we used to come across in our day-to-day workplace activities. One is programmed decision, another one is non-programmed decisions. Programmed decisions are routine and repetitive, and organization typically develop specific way to handle them. Programmed decisions are basically, it is very easy to take. For example, what procedure should I follow to get admission to an university or college? Step by step eligibility steps are available. Or what procedure should I follow for getting a driver's license? The procedure is very much clear. Even in the organization also, what should we do when the company is going to shut down? There will be specific rules and procedures 1, 2, 3, 4 that we need to follow. Whereas non-programmed decisions are typically one-shot decisions that are usually less structured than programmed decisions. These non-programmed decisions are typically creative. It needs creativity and we need to have tolerance also. These decisions are usually more difficult than programmed decisions. For example, how to manage large customers where there is pandemic. Or for example, how to rescue employees when there is an industrial accident or fire. Approaches to decision making. We are discussing three different approaches to decision making in this chapter. One is intuitive approach, number two is rational approach, and the third one is satisfying approach. What is intuitive approach to decision making? I have labeled this as the person or the manager who is always taking intuitive approach to decision making as a romantic manager.
There are some sufficient reasons for this labeling as a romantic manager. The intuitive approach is used when manager must make decisions based on largely hunches and intuition. Emotions can potentially rule these decisions. When a manager is taking decisions based on his emotions, hunches, guesswork, guessing and taking decisions, managers are scientists, they cannot guess and take decisions. They cannot take decisions based on emotions. They cannot take decisions based on hunches. They cannot take decisions based on intuitions. These decisions are made under reaction to emotions, hunches, and gut feelings. And these are very risky decisions. Why managers take intuitive approach to decision making? There are several reasons. Some of the managers, they used to take these type of decisions. Fastening on unsubstantiated facts and sticking with them. They do not want to go for research. They do not want to get the facts and figures. Lesser amount of information is available. Within the lesser amount of information, half of the information they want to take the decision immediately, overlooking everything except the immediate usefulness. They used to overlook the future consequences. One of the example I want to give here, for example, you are the person who are hiring engineers. Okay, when you are hiring engineers for a specific department, you got a call from your wife that your wife's brother is also a qualified engineer. Here the manager is sidetracking the really deserving candidate and picking up his wife's brother as an engineer. So here what is happening? He is overlooking everything except the immediate usefulness. Just to keep his spouse happy, he is hiring one of the engineer that he was not really deserving. These type of decisions are managers. Why they used to take these type of decisions? They are having an affinity for romantic stories and finding such information more significant than any other kind, including hard evidences. Another most important method of decision making we are going to discuss here is rational decision making approach. This we can call it as scientific decision making, rational decision making, and sometimes we call it as an optimizing approach to decision making. These are the synonymous words. Either you call it as a rational approach, or you call it as a scientific approach, or you call it as an optimizing approach, because this approach gives you the maximum benefit. That is why it is referred to as an economic man concept. What do you mean by economic man? The person who is focusing on profit, nothing but profit. He is an economic man. And these type of people will be really successful in business. So that is why it is labeled as what you call economic man concept. This decision is followed by 6 different steps. In some of the books they have given 7 steps. Just for the simplicity reason for my students, I have picked up only 6 steps. Number 1, recognize the need for a decision. Number 2, establish, rank and weigh the decision criteria. Number 3, gather available information and data. Number 4, identify possible alternatives. Number 5, evaluate each alternative with respect to all criteria. Number 6, select the best alternative. If I am giving these steps, you may not conceive it what is rational approach to decision making. You need to understand this approach in great depth. For that reason, I am giving you some example for each of these steps. Recognizing the need for a decision. Example, if your family is growing and you have a small house which doesn't meet your needs, let us assume that your decision in buying a bigger house to overcome that issue. Buying a house is a solution, not recognizing the need for a decision. The cause of the problem is space. Why we are buying? Because we don't have sufficient space in the present house. Here you need to mention the available space and the space needed. There are many options before going to buy a before going to buy a house. Number one, if there is a lot of junk in the house, remove it and make 1 or 2 extra rooms. Another option, identify space available within your vicinity that is belongs to you to build another room side by your house or buying a new house. So first you need to recognize whether you have to take decision for buying a house or not. If you are not recognizing the need for buying a house, rest of the steps you need not take. For example, you as a high school student or college student, you think that you need a new car and you are going to your dad and asking for a new car to use daily from college to house every day. It is around 20 kilometers. What your father will do? First, he will recognize whether my son needs new car or not. If he decides, if he recognizes with his intelligence and design, my son doesn't need new car, let he go in motorcycle or let he use the old car that is available at home about 10 years old. So here buying a car doesn't arise at all. So your father has recognized you need not require a car. It is same with the case of house also. Number two, establish rank and weigh the decision criteria. How we establish ranks and weigh the decision criteria? The second step is rational decision making is to outline the criteria ahead of time because those criteria will guide you properly. Example, we know space is the issue. Less space for living. Let us consider time and cost. We should think about the time first, such as when exactly we need the space. When the problem will be more critical, whether the problem will be critical, maybe there is a marriage in the house or maybe a new child is coming up, birth of a child. How long each option will take? If it is really buying a house with sufficient budget, the decision criteria will be different. The criteria for decision for buying a house is different. If you are really want to, first step you have already recognized that you are badly in need of a new house. Now before buying a house, step number 2, you need to establish rank and weigh the decision criteria for new house. New house, distance to your job, business, school, colleges and universities plus relatives. Number 2, crime rate per capita. Nobody want to buy a house where the culture is very bad. The per capita crime rate is more. So we want to buy a house where highly civilized people are living. Number 3, quality of school for the children. Schools are available abundantly in every city, but we will focus the best school and colleges that is available in future for our children. Availability of hospital, metro station, so on and so forth. This is about establishing rank and weighing the decision criteria. Step number 3, gather available information and data. Gathering information from real estate owner, websites, through relatives and friends, and make a comparative statement with pros and cons of different decisions. So you can gather information from so many sources, either from the real estate agent or from the well-wishers, relatives, or going to so many what you call the portals, searching in the web, so on and so forth. After step number 3, after gathering available information and data, you need to go to the fourth step, that is identify possible alternative. Based on the decision criteria and available information, you can have so many alternatives. Whether to buy a flat, whether to buy an independent villa, whether to build an independent house, or whether to construct a house. Look here, so many what you call alternatives are there. Buying a flat, buying a villa, buying an independent house, or constructing a house. Number 5. Evaluate each alternative with respect to each or all criteria. At this stage, we want to evaluate each of the alternative with reference to time, cost, and available budget. These are the 3 constraints. Time, whether we have sufficient time to construct a house or buy a flat. Cost and the available budget. These steps will be lengthy depending upon the number of alternatives available, and sometimes it takes a lot of time. The final step in rational decision making approach, select the best alternative. At this stage, we need to select the alternative which gives maximum economic benefit. Economic man concept. We do not want to waste a penny because we have hard earned money to buy a house. One should take rational decision in situations such as buying a house, buying an expensive car, or establishing a new business, or constructing a tower, leasing out, or further to sell apartment, so on and so forth. Now, hopefully you have very clear understanding about the rational approach to decision making. I have given sufficient examples. Now you can understand this type of decisions are taken by the profit making company. Any successful company, you name it, they have to take this rational approach or scientific approach of decision making. When they are taking this decision, it is not as easy as I have given the example, because some of the problems in the corporate life, in the business life, are highly complex. Following all these steps looks to be very tedious thing. It is having certain limitations. It is having certain drawbacks for this method. Let us see what are the limitations of optimizing approach or economic man concept. Assumption of rationality, the economic man hypothesis, is not very realistic. A person cannot be 100% an economic man. Let me take the example of restaurant. You have a very hi-fi restaurant. Okay. In this restaurant, you are following economic man concept at each and every decision. You got it? Now, you are an economic man. You are proud to be an economic man because you are making excellent profit. One fine day, you got your younger brother's marriage, and this marriage receptions they want to keep in your restaurant. Can you be an economic man for your father, brother, sister, or spouses? No, not possible. It is the same way in taking economic decisions in the corporate life also. Somewhere else, the emotion is coming in between. That is one of the limitation. Another difficulty or limitation in taking economic man concept or optimizing approach, limited knowledge of possible alternatives may lead to a wrong decision. Possible alternatives. What do you mean by possible alternatives? In the first example I gave you, buying a house. If you want to buying a house, you go to so many house owners. Do you think the seller gives you in black and white everything correct? They are not giving all the information. Somewhere else they are lacking something else. That is why they are selling the apartment or maybe the house. People do not have the ability in many cases to judge the best alternative. Most of the people, we don't have the ability in many cases to judge the best alternative. Always we used to commit some mistake in one area or another area. There is a temptation to manipulate numbers or actually ignore the information in the corporate life. Sometimes, due to some administrative problems, some of the managers, they used to manipulate the numbers and ignore some of the informations because taking economic man concept decision is rather difficult. There are many examples in the government organizations. In the government organizations, think for example, they want to give responsibility for outsourcing their what you call guest business. Every company used to receive guests instead of having their own guest house. Some of the company, they are giving contract to some of the big 5-star or 3-star hotels. While giving contract to these hotels, somehow the managers temptation are they used to manipulate the number. So at the end of the day, they may not take what you call economic man concept decisions. Based on these limitations, there is another rational method that we call it as a satisficing approach to decision making. This we call it as an administrative man concept. What is the difference between economic man concept and administrative man concept? Economic man concept you can use in highly profit making companies, whereas administrative man concept of taking decisions you will find in most of the government department. Herbert Simons, administrative man, selects the first alternative that meets the minimum satisfaction criteria and makes no real attempt to optimize. In decision making, what is decision making? Out of so many choices, we have to choose one. Out of so many options, we have to pick the best one. As I told you, buying a house, you have to pick the best house that gives you economic benefit. But in most of the cases in the workplace, some of the managers, ignoring the best alternative, they used to take the first alternative that gives the minimum satisfaction criteria. And this is happening in most of the ministries and most of the organizations in every country. You name any country in the government organizations, they follow administrative man concept, not economic man concept. Here, satisfying means selecting the first alternative that meets the decision maker's minimum standard of satisfaction. They do not want to maximize the outcome. There is a temptation to select the first alternative that satisfies the current level of aspiration. You need to know the another important vocab here, level of aspiration. Most of the managers, why they take this administrative man concept decision or satisficing approach, because it is based on their current level of aspirations. What is this current level of aspiration? This is continuation of satisficing approach to decision making, administrative man. Here we need to understand two important vocabs. One is current level of aspiration and another is principles of bounded rationality. Let me first discuss about the current level of aspirations. The level of aspiration is the level of performance that a person expects to attain, which is determined by the person's prior success and failure. As I told you in the beginning, everybody is taking decision. As a manager, I am also taking decisions. As a student, you are also taking decisions. As a father, he is also taking decisions. How we take decisions? We take decisions based on our past experience. That is the difference between how your father takes decisions and how you as a son at the age of 20 used to take decision. A good example for level of aspiration, for example, you are driving a car and you come across with the red signal, okay, as a young man full of enthusiastic, you look here and there whether the camera is available or not, or maybe the police is available or not. You try to sneak the or jump the signal. Whereas your father, who is having 30 years of driving, he will wait on the red signal till it becomes green, even though it is night, even though the police is not available, even though it is late afternoon, nobody is available, still he used to wait on the red signal because he is taking decisions based on his 30 years of driving. Whereas you are taking decisions based on your 2 years of driving. That is why sometimes you jump the red signal. That is the level of aspirations. People used to take decisions based on their past experience and prior success and failures. Another, that is why instead of taking economic decisions, most of the managers, they take satisficing approach to decision making. Another important thing, principles of bounded rationality. We understood what do you mean by rationality. Rationality, the another meaning of rationality I can give you here is fairness. We need to be 100% fair. We need to be 100% rational. Rational. Who is 100% rational? Computers are 100% rational. Computers are 100% fair. As far human being, me and you are concerned, somewhere else, somehow, the emotion is interfering. We are not becoming rational. Even though if you want to become rational, somehow the emotion is making us to become not rational. That is what we call it as a principles of bounded rationality. The principles of bounded rationality assumes that people have the time and cognitive ability to process only a limited amount of information. Sometimes, as a student, you used to tell me many times, teacher, we are not computers. Definitely you are not computers. You are not supercomputer. I am not supercomputer. I cannot take rational decision all the time. Somewhere else 50% rational. If you are 50% rational, 70% rational, 80% rational, we can say it is a principle of bounded rationality, limited rationality. People used to have limited rationality, whereas computers used to have 100% rationality. That is why most of the managerial decisions fall under the satisficing approach to decision making. These are the two reasons. That is why people used to take satisficing approach to decision making. When to take different types of decisions. Type of decisions, when to use it. Rational decisions, I have put here rational decision, optimizing decisions, scientific decisions. This is economic man concept. These are the three same different vocab we use for rational decisions. Either you call it as a rational decision or optimizing approach decision or scientific approach decision based on economic man concept. In the business where you are trying to maximize your outcome, if you want to do business and you want to succeed in the business, you should be like an economic man and you have to take rational decision. Otherwise, you may fail in the business. Satisficing approach, sometimes we call it as a bounded rationality approach because it is not 100% rational. It is 70% rational or 80% rational. You have lack of time and you do not want to maximize your outcome. Most of the time you have tight deadlines. You do not have right time to analyze all the 6 steps. So you will choose the first alternative which satisfies the decision. That is satisficing approach. When you have to take when you have lack of time and you do not have to maximize your outcome. Intuitive decisions, when there is a time pressure and goals are unclear. Guesswork. Intuitive decision is a guesswork based on guess, hunches and emotions, where there is a lot of time pressures and you don't know the consequences. If you know the consequences, you may not take intuitive decision. So these are the three different types of decisions we have discussed and when to use it. Conditions for making decisions. Here we are discussing two different conditions of making decisions. Number one, situation of uncertainty and the situation of risk. The decision maker, situation of uncertainty, the decision maker can calculate the precise outcome for each alternative. Decisions based on certainty are seldom made. So if you are certain, if you are 100% predicting what will happen after the decision, this type of situation we call it as a situation of certainty. So these decisions are calculated precisely with each alternative. Then another conditions where people used to take decisions, situation of risk. Reasonably accurate probabilities based on historical data and past experience often can be calculated. Under such conditions, the decision maker can use expected value analysis to reach a decision. So these are the two different conditions for decision making. Role of values in decision making. Values plays very important role in decision making. First, you need to know what is values. Values are personal or group concept about what is desirable. Values are acquired and developed in the early ages. Values. Let me give a very simple example for values. For example, today you got $500 or $200 as overtime. And you have three friends. All the three friends got $200 as overtime. And all these three friends, they want to enjoy these $200. So what's happening? One of the person is buying books because his value is to acquire more and more literature. Another friend, with this $200, he want to wine and dine with his friends. His value is totally different. He thinks if I keep my friends happy always, I will be a successful person in the life. So he is spending this $200 in wine and dine. Another person who is having $200 from his bonus or overtime, he is using to buy gym equipment, any of the gym equipment, because his values are different. What he thinks, if he is healthy, everything is good in life. Look here, three different people have three different values. Like this, managers, they bring their own values to the workplace. And these values will impact the decision maker at the workplace. Values impact the selection of performance measures, the generation of alternatives, and the development of choice criteria in the decision making. Managers, when they bring their own values, those values also impact the decision maker and the decisions in the workplace. Western managers believes in economic man concept and their decisions are totally different. Western managers, they believe in economic value. They have not belief in the social value and family value. That is why what they do, at a click of a button, by sending email to 5,000 or 1,000 people, they will fire without focusing on the families of the employees. Western managers, That is why every day, now and then, you will find news from the what you call the Western companies. Motorola has fired 10,000 employees. Okay. Now some of the Asian what you call the counterparts, they are also following Western culture in hiring and firing, because it is based on the economic. If the manager is having economic value, he will not hesitate to fire anybody. Eastern managers, Middle East managers believes in social and religious values. Eastern managers, Middle East managers, they believe in social and religious value. If they want to terminate a person, I'm not talking about 100 people. If they want to terminate a single person, they will think, oh, this person is having 4 or 5 children. What about his family? He is aged 50. After 50 years, he may not get anywhere else job. So the Eastern managers, their value is totally different in hiring and firing, whereas Western managers, their values are different. So it plays a very important role in decision making. Making creative decisions. Several techniques can be used to foster creative decision making within an organization. Creativity, coming up with an idea that is new, original, useful, or satisfying to its creator or someone else. Because we need to know what is creativity and innovation. There is difference between creativity and innovation. Innovation is a process of applying a new and creative idea to a product, service, or method or operation. If you are creating entirely a new software, it comes under creativity. Already there is a software and you are improving that software, that comes in innovation. So many techniques are used for creative decisions in decision making. The creative decisions is having 5 steps how we can take creative decisions. Preparation, concentration, incubation of idea, illumination and verification. Creative process will follow these 5 steps. Preparation, investigate to fully understand the problem and all relevant issues pertaining to the problem. So in creative decisions, we need to investigate fully. First, we need to prepare. How we prepare? We need to investigate fully and understand the problem and the relevant issues pertaining to the issue. Then comes the concentration, commit to solving the problem in a timely manner. We need to solve the problem within the deadlines. That's why we need to follow concentration. Incubation of ideas, information allows creative sparks to catch fire. So in creative decisions, after preparation, you need to concentrate it, then the birth of the idea, and the idea will click in the 3rd stage. In the 4th stage, illumination of idea, making that idea practical. We sometimes call it as a eureka connection. Connect the problem with an acceptable solutions. Then finally, verification, test the solution and accept the result. This creative decision process, most of us, we follow in developing new softwares. If you want to develop any new software, you need to follow this creative process in decision making. First, you need to have preparation, then you need to have concentration, then you need to have incubation of idea, then you need to have illumination or eureka connection. Finally, testing the software, that is what we call it as a verification. Some of the methods of creative decisions, just I have chosen 2 methods here: brainstorming and brainwriting. Brainstorming, it is presenting a problem to a group and allowing group members to produce a large quantity of ideas for its solution with no criticism initially allowed. In brainstorming session, what is happening? a problem will be presented to a group of people and they have to scribble the answer, they have to write the solutions. Here the manager or the person who is heading the brainstorming session, he will not criticize anybody. He will just look into the what you call the ideas, then whenever it is required he will use that idea, but he will not make direct criticism, because it will, what you call in brainstorming session, it will not motivate the participant. Another method of creative decision making, brainwriting. It is a technique in which a group is presented with a problem situation and members anonymously write down ideas, then exchange paper with others who build on ideas and pass them on until all members have participated. Here, every person has to write his idea anonymously without identifying themselves. Then this idea will be exchanged among the members present. When it is written anonymously, there will be no bias. It is an unbiased way of creative decision making. And these papers will be circulated among all the participants, and without any bias, the best of the best solution will be accepted. Nowadays, computers are playing a very important role in decision making. We use computer to take a lot of decisions. Artificial intelligence is the intelligence of the machine and robots and the branch of computer science that aims to create it. Artificial intelligence is the study and design of intelligent agent, where an intelligent agent is a system that perceives its environment and take action that maximize its chances of success. Nowadays, artificial intelligence is used in robots. You will find, you have seen in many of the airports, robot technology is used. The robot is answering your queries. Instead of putting an enquiry section, they are putting the robots. These robots are using artificial intelligence and they are recognizing your voice, they are recognizing your words, and they are answering your queries like a what you call the natural human being. That is nowadays using in many of the airports also. Management Information System, MIS, is also used in making decisions. Most of the managers, they are using MIS. It is an integrated approach for providing interpreted and relevant data that can help managers to make decisions. At a click of a button, managers or decision makers, they are getting whatever they want. Either you call it as a management information system, in different organizations and companies, it is having different names. Sometimes we call it as a human resource information system, human resource, HRIS, human resource information system. In the human resource information system, it is also like a management information system. The human resource manager, if a company is having maybe 30,000, 40,000 employees, at a click of a button, he can come to know how many people are retiring this month, whether 1,000, 2,000. At a click of a button, they will come to know how many people are managerial staff, how many people have acquired extra qualification. All the biodata, data is fed in the human resource information system, and it's making the decision makers' life easy. Data processing is also used to take managerial decision. It is the capturing, processing and storing of data. Whenever data is required, we use the database management method to resolve the problem. Then transition processing system substitute computer processing for manual record keeping and procedures. There are hundreds of accounting softwares. Those accounting softwares, we call it as a transition process system, that we is substituting computer processing for manual recording and procedures. Instead of having 10 people to work in the accounting section or department, they can use transition processing system. Many softwares are there, accounting softwares. Enterprise resource planning, ERP program, hundreds of ERP programs are there in accounting, marketing, ABAP, finance, engineering. SAP has produced a lot of enterprise softwares. SAP ERP is revolutionized the decision making criteria in a rational way. Thank you. This is the end of decision making skill chapter.